Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Friday, 24th of May 2024. This day is celebrated as National Brothers Day. The day was founded to celebrate the marvelous relationship between brothers and sisters. So, starting the newspaper analysis with the newspaper, The Hindu states that Biden to designate Kenya a major non-NATO ally. President Joe Biden shakes hands with the Kenya's President William Ruto at the end of the news conference in the East Room of the White House on May 23, 2024. United States President Joe Biden has announced his intent to designate Kenya as a major non-NATO ally. United States President Joe Biden rolled out the red carpet on May 23 for his Kenyan counterpart, William Ruto, unveiling plans during a lavish state visit to name Kenya a major non-NATO ally as Washington competes for influence on the continent against Moscow and Beijing. Kenya will become the first sub-Saharan African nation to receive the designation, which is currently held by another 18 countries including Ukraine, and boosts military and diplomatic links, although without a formal security pact. The Hindu newspaper also states that heads of Iran-allied militant groups meet in Tehran. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei meets with the Palestinian group Hamas top leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, Iran, May 2024. The axis of resistance brings together Iran's regional allies in the fight against Israel, including the Palestinian movement Hamas, Lebanon's Hezbollah, Yemen's Houthis, and Iraqi Shiite armed groups. Leaders of the Iran-led so-called axis of the resistance, including Hamas's Ismail Haniyeh, discussed the war in Gaza during a meeting in the Tehran on the sidelines of the President Ebrahim Raisi's funeral, state media reported on May 23. The axis of the resistance brings together Iran's regional allies in the fight against Israel, including the Palestinian movement Hamas, Lebanon's Hezbollah, Yemen's Houthis, and Iraqi Shiite armed groups. The Hindu newspaper also states that 2024 Lok Sabha at West Bengal's Tamluk seat had for fights a contest between ex-judge and youth leaders. Dibungshu Bhattacharya, TMC Lok Sabha candidate, at the meeting at Moina in Tamluk constituency on May 23. As it gears for the Lok Sabha election on May 25, the Tamluk constituency witnesses as an intense contest between BJP terminal and CPI-M candidates. With the 2 days to go for the sixth phase of the 2024 Lok Sabha election, the village of the Monia in Tamluk constituency lined up to excitedly to meet the terminal Congress candidate, 28-year-old Dibungshu Bhattacharya, who is locked in a bitter contest with the former Calcutta High Court judge and Bharatiya Janata Party candidate Abhijit Gangopathy. We are Team Tamluk and we have to keep the BJP at bay. Do I have the blessings of the mothers and sisters of Monia? Mr. Bhattacharya asked the crowd of the villagers while referring to his rival candidate as a fake judge. The audience, mostly women, burst into a cheer, clapping and raising their hands to show their support. Heavy rains causes floods in Thrissur. A woman removes a floodwater from her house at Potrukaikal in Thrissur city. The entire area was flooded in the heavy rain that lashed the city on Wednesday night. Floodwater enters many houses. Ashwini Hospital flooded in rain. The Thrissur city witnessed a heavy flooding in the torrential rain that lasted half hours on Wednesday night. Widespread damage was reported in the district. Floodwater entered Ashwini Hospital in the city, damaging many equipment. Even in the casualty section, red alert has been declared in the Thrissur. Heavy losses was reported from various parts of the district in the heavy rains on Wednesday night. Even high-lying areas were flooded. Water entered many houses and institutions. Floodwater entered more than 100 houses. 7 houses were partially damaged. The floodwater caused a loss of around 3 crore at Ashwini Hospital alone. CT scan and X-ray machines and computers were damaged, according to the hospital sources. Water entered the hospital from the overflowing canal flowing close to the hospital. Many vehicles were also damaged. Roads in front of the Jubilee Mission Hospital too were underwater. Now going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that Chhattisgarh, 7 Moses killed in gunfight, 7 weapons seized, to say police. The operation is being carried out in the Abu Jahmad forest at the Tri junction of Narayanpur, Bastar, Dantewada districts. Roypur. At least 7 Moslems were killed in a gunfight in a forest near the Chhattisgarh's Narayanpur district on Thursday in a joint operation launched by the security forces and the police forces of Narayanpur, Bastar and the Dantewada. Officials aware of the matter said. Hindustan Times also stated that Russia are ready to help India build more reactors. Russian nuclear agency chief Alexei Likhachev, Director General of the Rostam State Atomic Energy Corporation, and Ajit Kumar Mohantray, Chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, held a meeting on Thursday at Seversk in Russia. New Delhi. Russia is ready to help India with the construction of the high-capacity nuclear power units at a new site in the addition to the atomic power project at the Kudankulam. As a part of the efforts to expand cooperation in the peaceful use of the nuclear energy, the head of the Russian nuclear agency said on Thursday. The name also states that massive fire in Dombivli after the boiler blast in the factory, 5 dead, 56 injured. A huge boiler blast took place in the MIDC area phase 2nd in Dombivli, Maharashtra. At least 5 were killed and 56 severely injured after a major fire broke out in the industrial area of the Dombivli after a boiler blasted at the Amber Chemical Company on Thursday. Huge plumes of smoke were seen as the sound of the explosion reportedly reached as far as 3 kilometers away from the blast site. Cabinet Minister Uday Samet reached the spot and the firefighting attempts went on for hours. The minister assured of a plan to get a permanent solution for MIDC Dombivli. Going towards the economy of the country from the business point of view, shuffling of a trade negotiators, Trade Ministry looks to retain institutional memory. Experts pointed out that the country's negotiating strategy cannot rely on transferable generalist civil servants and could be separate services to handle trade negotiations. Due to the lack of the permanent institutional structure and the efficient file keeping of negotiations held earlier, India's bilateral and multilateral talks fall short of while facing subject matter experts, especially from developed nations who tend to deploy the considerably large teams of the negotiators and researchers with the decades of experience. Faced with the tough negotiators from the United Kingdom and the European Union, the Commerce and the Industry Ministry has started looking at ways to strengthen India's negotiating capabilities. Among other things, this exercise is likely to focus on flagging loopholes that emanate due to the loss of the institutional memory on account of the routine transfer of key civil servants trading extend trade negotiations. We have not done such a deep research in the India. Mukherjee told the Indian Express. India has no one of the best trade negotiators, but there is an information and process gap. Even if after the free trade agreement, our exporters find that their competitors have a better deal. We spend a lot of time in the tariff negotiations as we are in a high tariff country. If we can streamline unilateral tariffs and lower them and focus on other areas like having time-bound mutual recognition agreements MRAs to address non-tariff barriers, the benefit of trade agreement will be more, she added. Hiring for new roles to take 27% efforts of HR professionals in financial year 2025 report, while replacement hiring will still be necessary, comprising 23% of recruitment activities. The primary goal is to drive growth and innovation by creating new roles. Recruitment activities are expected to be focusing on the filling new position in 2024-25 as hiring for fresh openings will make up 27% of the talent hunting efforts for employers across the sectors, a report said on Thursday. The report by Genius Consultants is based on a survey among 1,114 human resource professionals and C-suite executives between March 1st and April 15 this year. Sensex Nifty at a new highs after dividend payout more. The surges both indices comes a day after the Reserve Bank of India board approved a highest ever surplus transfer of rupees 2.1 lakh crore to the government for 2023-24. Benchmark stock market indices Sensex and the Nifty surged 1.6% to end at a high record high Thursday after the Reserve Bank of India announced a record surplus transfer of rupees 2.11 lakh crore and on the heavy inflows from the foreign portfolio investors. Sensex Nifty 50 hit record high after the Reserve Bank of India announced transfer of dividend. If the election outcome aligns with the current market expectations, we expect Nifty to reach new highs in the first week of June, said Neeraj Chandwar, head fundamental and quantitative research of Axis Securities. He suggested that investors should stay invested in the market and maintain good liquidity, 10%, take advantage of the market dips, and gradually build up positions in the high-quality companies with a strong earnings visibility with an investment or horizon of 12-18 months. Going to the world news, including 5 things to know about the Memorial Day, including its evolution and controversies. International eyes from inhaling poisonous gas at Singapore work aside. Pink e-rickshaw driver from the Uttar Pradesh wins United Kingdom's Royal Award. Political consultant behind fake Biden rob calls faces $6 million fine, criminal charges. United States President Joe Biden welcomes Kenya's Ruto to White House with the investments promise. United Kingdom's anti-smoking laws could be lost in the pre-election parliamentary rush. Now going to science and tech, the chilling cover-up of the United Kingdom's infected blood scandal. A protester outside the Westminster in the central London during the infected blood inquiry final report. The infectious blood inquiry led by a former judge, Brian Langstaff, catalogs preventable failures by doctors and successive governments that led to the decades-long treatment disasters in the United Kingdom. 50 years on, an inquiry report has shed some light on the medical tragedy in the United Kingdom between the 1970s and 1990s. More than 30,000 people were infected with HIV, hepatitis C and hepatitis B after receiving contaminated blood and blood products imported from the United States, making it to the worst treatment disaster in the history of the Britain's state-funded National Health Services (NHS). The disaster was not an accident, said inquiry chair Sir Byron Langstaff. While announcing the report, those in the authority, doctors, the blood services, and the governments committed the ultimate folly in the healthcare and the healing. They steered not patient safety first. 49% of the lake areas in Bengaluru urban are covered with the trees and shrubs, report an aerial view of the Hisarghatha lake. However, the report said when trees, especially invasive and exotic species, are extensively planted directly on the lake beds, they pose significant problems. A recent report on the impact of planting invasions on lakes in Bengaluru urban has revealed that 49% of the lake's area are covered with the trees and shrubs. According to a report of Pani Earth on assessing the scale and impacts of planting invasives on the lakes in the Bengaluru urban and surrounding districts, the Forest Department has actively planted exotic and invasive tree species across lake beds since the 1990s. As a result of this, there has been an increase in the forest cover. Pyramids were built along a lost branch of the Nile. Study finds a general view of the fog over the Great Pyramids and old houses in the Cairo, Egypt, 2024, January. The Nile was at the heart of the ancient Egypt civilization, and the location of so many pyramids some distance away from the river has until now not been fully explained. The largest field of the pyramids in the Egypt, consisting of 31 pyramids built over the millennium, including the famous Great Pyramid at Giza, lies along a narrow strip of the land in the desert several kilometers west of the Nile River. After 180 years, clues reveal how general anesthesia works in the brain. How anesthesia drug works in the brain has largely remained a mystery since it was introduced into a medicine over 180 years ago. Even though it is one of the safest of medical practices, we still don't have a complete through understanding and previous precisely how anesthetic drugs work in the brain. Over 350 million surgeries are performed globally each year. For most of us, it is likely to at some point in our lives we will have to undergo a procedure that needs a general anesthesia. What's the net zero? A short history of a monumental concept. Green funding concept for a green business. Renewable energy generation is essential for future finance and investment, carbon credits, and environment. Pledges to achieve net zero emission over the coming decades have proliferated since the United Nations 2021 Glasgow Climate Summit. Last month, the leaders of the G7 declared their commitment to achieving net zero emissions by the 2050. At the latest, closer to home, the Albanese government recently introduced the legislation to establish a net zero economy authority, promising it will catalyze investment in clean energy technologies in push to reach net zero. Sun's magnetic field may form close to the surface, new study. The sun sets over the mountains as a geometric storm continues hitting the earth and Ronda, Spain, May 12, 2024. New research indicates that the sun's magnetic field originates much closer to the surface than previously thought. New research indicates the sun's magnetic field originates much closer to the surface than previously thought, a finding that could help predict periods of extreme solar storms like the ones that slammed the Earth earlier this month. The magnetic field appears to generate 20,000 miles, 32,000 kilometers, that is beneath the sun's surface. Previous calculations put roots of this process more than 130,000 miles, that is 20,900 kilometers below, an international team reported on Wednesday. At last, there's a famous quotation said by Maulana Abul Kalam, whose full name was Abul Kalam Ghulam Muhyiddin Ahmad bin Khairuddin Al-Hassani Azad. Born on the 11th of November 1888 up 22nd of February 1958, was an Indian independence activist, writer, and a senior leader of the Indian National Congress. Following India's independence, he became the first Minister of Education in the Indian government. He is commonly remembered as the Maulana Azad. The word Maulana is honorific, our master, and he has adopted Azad Free as his pen name. His contribution to establishing the Education Foundation in India is recognized by celebrating his birthday as a National Education Day across the India. In October 1920, Azad was elected as a member of the foundation committee to establish Jamia Millia Islamia at Aligarh in UP. Without taking help from the British colonial government, he assisted in shifting the campus of the university from Aligarh to New Delhi in 1934. The main gate number 7 to main campus of the university is named after him. Azad was one of the main organizers of the Dharsana Satyagraha in 1931 and emerged as one of the most important national leaders of the time, prominently leading the cause of the Hindu-Muslim unity as well as the espousing secularism and socialism. He served as the Congress president from 1940 to 1945, during which the Quit India Rebellion was launched. Azad was imprisoned together with the entire Congress leadership. He also worked for Hindu-Muslim unity through the Al-Hilal newspaper. Maulana Azad says a famous quotation. He says that teaching by tongue can perspire, but by good deed can stay stronger. Okay, thank you.